We all know the Twitter saga continues and continues, but we have to ask ourselves something. Is Twitter so important right now? Really? Is it so important? But we will talk a little bit about that and also about something else. Tesla again, maybe. We should look at Tesla more, I think, in the Tesla community, because the fundamentals haven't changed. Like I said, all the episodes before, Tesla is in such a good position, and to show us how good the position is from Tesla in comparison to the competition, I've invited again Lars from BestInTESLA to the podcast here. So Lars, how about you just start right away and say hello to our audience? How about that?
Hello everybody. Nice to be back and get my Tesla fix.
Yes, as always, yeah.
Always.
Yeah. So Lars, I'm very grateful that you're here again. I always enjoy having you on the podcast. We have to talk about some stuff. I would start with Twitter for starters. How do you view the situation with Twitter? Because we are not as involved in US politics right now. That's a good thing. But you can see that it's a very emotional topic. People are very riled up because of Twitter. Elon Musk is being dragged through the mud already again, as we are used to already, especially you with your news channel. You try to get a new angle on the FUD, but you're more focused on Tesla and on the automotive sector, of course. But how do you view the Twitter situation? And do you think that Elon is capable of making this everything app that he wants to achieve? Maybe you can tell us something about that.
Yeah, well, I think we have a good perspective of the whole saga from over here in Europe because we are not so involved in the politics of it all. So for me, like I have said month back when they started on this whole Twitter saga, I said, well, he's just buying a company. Let it be. And then we see if he gets it and when he gets it. And then we can start talking about that product he's building over there instead. But it has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with Tesla. Yeah, sure, he's using stocks and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but if you believe in the story of Tesla and where they're heading, their fundamentals has not changed. They're still producing like crazy and they're still delivering like crazy, and that hasn't changed. We've just got the October numbers from China, and they are records all around for production. So they are still hammering like never before, even though he's doing all these Twitter things. So is it hurting Tesla? In my opinion, not at all. It might hurt the stock a bit because he's selling off some Tesla shares, but that's it. But that's gonna come again when we're gonna get all these new numbers for 2023, when they're just gonna ramp up to new levels. So I think we're gonna get that tenfold back, and this is just kind of a pushing down on the Tesla stock, holding it down because the fundamentals has not changed. So I think this is like a spring effect. When all this Twitter FUD is over, it's just going to be like, and then I think we're going to have like kind of a 2020 scenario where the stock is going to make another big rally. But that is just, pure speculation, of course. Nobody knows. But I think the whole Twitter thing, for me as a Tesla investor, I don't really care. I think it's great what he's doing, because if you look at it as just Twitter, I think he can do some really amazing stuff, and I think he's not getting the credit for what he has already done. Going from a company that lost 4 million a day
That's crazy.
to now they earn 10 million a day because they have fired half the staff. So it's like he's just correcting the very, very badly run Twitter. It was insanely badly run, in my opinion, when you look at compared to YouTube, where they have almost 3 billion user base, but half the staff of Twitter.
What? I didn't knew that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they have, Twitter have like 500 million, not followers, what do you call that?
Active users.
Active users, yeah, thanks. And YouTube have almost 3 billion. So it's not even comparable in size, but YouTube has like, I believe it 2,800 employees, software engineers and developers running this whole great thing. And Twitter had like 8,000 people running their little business. So people are worried about, is the security going to be there and stuff like, what are you talking about, man? This has nothing to do with over bloated company with employees. It's like Volkswagen with their carrot, company and 5,000 software engineers
This is
that
the most
can get a
ridiculous thing
software
I've
to run
ever heard.
properly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Tesla has 150 software engineers working at the AI team, and they are making history in this space of software with the full self driving, right? So,
Yeah.
so it's not the numbers of employees. I think Elon is going to clean that up. I think he's also an actual user of this, so he knows what is needed. It's not like
Yeah,
normal
that's true. That's
CEOs that
true.
sits and say, "Yeah, but revenue and advertising and all that kind of stuff." He's just, we need to make this platform better, and I think
Yeah.
that is going to be awesome having a technology guy that actually
Yeah.
understands software and is actually a user of the product himself. He's probably the most hardcore user of Twitter than
I
any of
think
us.
so. Yeah.
So he knows what is needed and he knows what would be awesome to have. And I think already what we have seen just in, he got the keys to Twitter like 2 weeks ago, and
Yeah.
it's already changed a lot. And yeah, I think that's going to be, if anybody can do it, I think it's Elon Musk,
Yeah.
because he understands and he has a vision for it, and also the vision that he had with PayPal that never got to fruition because the board didn't want to go that
Yeah.
way. They just wanted to make person-to-person interactions with payment. I think Elon would want to make a whole new payment system kind of thing,
Yeah, I
and
was very
everything is going to be implemented in Twitter.
Yeah. I was very critical last episode when I talked to Farzad about Twitter, because I'm from the media space, and in that space I really I'm in the field. That's why I know how hard it is to actually influence people in doing something. It's very hard, but you can do it. There are some mechanisms that you can get use, and but it's very hard to implement in a social media company and establish a new platform. But the good thing is Twitter is already established. It's one of the OG social media companies. And what I didn't put into perspective last time, what you've said is that Elon Musk is a very hardcore user of Twitter. That's something that I missed a little bit in my thesis. But you're right. That's something I have missed. And
Yeah, and I think he understands the
yeah.
whole, like, WhatsApp. He knows about WhatsApp and wants to make kind of WhatsApp, that the everything app, and it's like
You mean
crazy
WeChat?
that
WeChat?
Twitter haven't done this before. Like, why? I use Twitter to advertise for my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So Twitter is just a step between me and my YouTube channel, and the YouTube channel is where I get a revenue from advertisers. Why doesn't Twitter do that?
Yeah.
They could get so much in advertising. So he's going to kind of almost copy YouTube and put it into Twitter. There's some things they have to do to get longer videos, but for the amount of videos and the durations of video as I do, is the next, if they can make that 42-minute long video possible, I'll be pretty good to get my videos on that platform as well, if I can monetize my videos there as well.
Yeah.
So I think he's creating a platform that's good for content creators, and it is the content creators that make social platforms, in my opinion, because that's when you follow people. I follow a lot of people on social media because of those people. I'm not on Twitter because of advertising or whatever. I'm there because I want to follow Elon. I want to follow all the other Tesla communities and stuff like that. So.
Yeah.
And I think he's just bringing all of that together in one space. And he knows software, he knows the platform, and he's a heavy user of it. So he knows what needs to be done.
Yeah, that's interesting to hear again, because I'm more of a skeptic on this topic. But yeah, as I discussed with Farzad last time, it can be possible, but I think it's harder to pull new users. But as you say, if you get the content creators on the platform, if they have a true benefit of posting videos there and then have an incentive, then people will follow over there too.
Yeah, because if you can make this whole freedom of speech and not being so monetized on what you can say and stuff like that, I think Twitter could become the place where you search for news because here's the truth. This is where you find that you can't go to you can't go to the mainstream media anymore. Definitely not the US ones.
Yeah,
because
it's crazy.
they're kind of owned by Big Oil or Big Auto or whoever pays their bills. And you can see it very clearly on Fox News and CNBC. who they also promote of the
Hmm.
politicians and
Hmm.
so on. They won't say bad things about this one, but about that one for sure.
Hmm.
And that's
It's very
just like,
biased. The US
yeah, it's
news
very biased.
landscape is
Where
very biased. We
if you
have
can
more
get that into
neutrality in
Twitter,
Europe, I think. In the media space, we
yeah,
have it's more neutrality a little bit. Yeah, but
yeah. Also,
it
we
can
have
be
laws in
yeah,
Denmark that they are not allowed to do that. If you are
yeah, exactly.
national Danish TV that
Yeah.
we pay to run, so it's a different over here. But in the US, I think mainstream media is, yeah, I don't believe much what they say because they are so biased against something. Like Best in Tesla is biased against Tesla, of course,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
so you take my views with a grain of salt, but that's kind of in the name. I called my channel Best in Tesla, so you know what you're getting into. But they don't call their channels Best in
Big
GM
oil. Best in big
or
oil.
Best in Biden or whatever they want to call them. So they should be non-biased and just
Yeah.
represent the news, but they don't. But I think Twitter could become that place
I know what you mean.
where
Hmm.
you everybody's opinions is allowed, and the ones that are, and you get these community notes as well, so that they're going to be voted up, so people have more knowledge and more depth in the topic and can kind of make
Yeah.
their own opinion on it, but you have some real knowledge from
Hmm.
people all over the world.
Yeah.
And I think because Elon also want to open up the engine room. See,
Hmm.
if
Yeah.
you want to see how we do this, go and check GitHub. You can check the code out
Hmm.
yourself if you know stuff like that.
Hmm.
So I think it's going to be the most trusted source on the internet at some
Yeah.
point. And that I think that's going to be very valuable because I already use Twitter as my news source because I just follow the news sources I want
Of
to
course. Yeah.
gather news from. So I just go into Twitter already.
Hmm.
But that's going to be even amplified for everybody else because even my wife has gone on Twitter because of news because he's never been on Twitter. Like why would I go on Twitter?
Hmm.
But it's just become a news
Outlet.
information
Yeah.
center of great news, and you can get everybody's comment on it and get your own opinion made up about it. So I think that's going to be amplified when they
Hmm.
make this new place.
Yeah, I get what you mean. It's very interesting. Also, especially like the functionality, the community nodes that he wants to implement or is testing. I think I don't know if it's rolled out in a wide release, but this is such a good idea because it's so similar to Wikipedia, for example. There it works also. There were some abuse cases of the system, but that's something you have all the time. And I think news is a difficult topic because many people study, for examples, journalism, and journalists are more aware of the biases. They should be, at least they should be, because they learn this stuff. They should learn this stuff in their.
Yeah.
I've always to say that, but um, that doesn't mean that you can spread news from a person on a personal level. For example, if I have a event that's happening here and I'm filming and I'm just uploading it and or speak about it, um, one argument is it's a little bit difficult because you have to see if it's true what's happening, because only if I see something on the street doesn't mean that I'm correct in what was happening, and people tend to jump to conclusions very fast. But I think
Yeah.
if you take everything new or new information on Twitter as with a little bit of grain of salt, even if it spreads, and then we have the community notes, and then things get clarified in the process,
Yeah.
just like in the press. And we today we have such a news economy that even false news will be spread. If the journalist doesn't know if it's false news, they just spread it because it's a hot take or hot
Yeah.
news that has to get out very fast. So they also jump to conclusions. So the quality of journalism already is a little bit lower because of the internet economy, because of the news economy, how it is today in the internet. That's why I think it is necessary to open up a little bit more to get the public involved as well a little bit more. And
Yeah. And also,
yeah, but you have to like crush the bots, and because manipulation is a big thing, you have to tackle this problem. And I think he does that with the premium checkmark thing with $8, and this could be a good strategy to get the bots involved. Yeah.
Yeah, and I also
get the
think like
bots off the
this could
platform.
be good for Tesla
Hmm.
because this could be the new PR room for Tesla as
Hmm.
well.
Yeah.
Because they don't have a PR team, they just have Elon tweeting.
Hmm.
But if that suddenly becomes the center stage of news in the world,
Hmm.
it is a great place where Tesla have or Elon has 100 million followers or more than 100 million
Yeah.
followers. So Tesla could also use this as their PE platform. Elon could hire a guy that just sits and every time there is some FUD spread about Tesla in the mainstream media, they can go in, correct it, and
Hmm.
then we have community notes and everything backing
Hmm.
it up and putting it to the top of the chart. And then the mainstream media, they're going to have a tough time spreading all their FUD if we have this truth media, if you
Hmm.
will, in Twitter or X.com,
Yeah,
whatever it's going to be
I
called.
want to give the news sites more or less. I don't know the American news, but the benefit of the doubt a little bit. I think they are a little bit like sometimes they don't really look as closely as the Tesla community. For example, that's why many Tesla community members, like Elon Musk said a lot of times, oh, they got it right, and the other ones don't get it right. They don't calculate thoroughly. And if you follow some, for example, I cannot enough, for example, is very great with his statistics. And I've
Yeah.
also dig deep into his stuff, but it's very nerdy stuff. But you have to do it to understand the company, and
And that's a big difference between the
yeah,
mainstream media
yeah,
and the
exactly,
community because they
absolutely,
have to know a lot of things about a lot of
yeah,
things.
exactly,
Where the Tesla community just knows Tesla,
specialized, yeah,
but we know it very, very well. So
yeah.
we usually right on the money there where they are
Hmm.
usually wrong and don't understand what have happened in the past or where they're going and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. If you're specialized on one topic, then you're more of an expert in that topic, and
Yeah.
yeah, I get how many benefits there could be for the future also as a platform. That's very true. So I'm I've shifted my opinion a little bit more towards okay, maybe it's gonna work out, but yeah, I'm just skeptical how people think in the Tesla community how easy it is getting people on board. It's not as easy getting people on board, especially, for example, with Rumble. People just left YouTube that were censored on YouTube or thought or felt like with the tape on their mouth,
Censorship. Yeah.
censorship. They went to Rumble, but then we have right wing conservatives all over Rumble, and then me personally, I'm hesitating uploading stuff there because I think, do you want to be associated with that platform even? And that's something that's bad. So if the public opinion on Elon Musk is so bad, then which I think is totally not true, but personally, but people, the public thinks that. So that means like Twitter will have problems getting new customers. I think, like more or less, but we see the numbers are up. So my theory is totally overboard right now. But I think some people are hesitant, and even if we establish payment methods, for example, then yeah, some people won't trust them and say, well, why should I use Twitter as a payment method? But the thing is, it's true until it doesn't. So it
Exactly.
can shift if the platform is so attractive at some point. People will just jump on it. They don't
It's
care
like
anymore.
it's like Elon has said many times before, just make the product good.
Yeah,
That they don't advertise for Tesla and haven't done
yeah,
through the last since they have been alive, and they are the fastest growing brand and so on because they just focus on making the product that good.
yeah,
And Elon knows this, and this is what they're gonna do with Twitter. They're just gonna make it that good that
yeah,
people can't resist of getting on Twitter because that's where you find everything.
yeah. That's true. Yeah, that's
But
true.
it's not going to be like next year.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
going to take some time, of
yeah.
course.
It
Like you
takes time.
say, people have to
Yeah,
learn to trust it. But I think in the end, because they open up the engine room and show, hey, you can
yeah,
trust us,
yeah.
nobody else is doing that.
Exactly.
And I think they have to do that in the future, like
Mm-hmm.
5 years down the road,
Mm-hmm.
because people are, yeah, but I don't trust Facebook and Mark
Mm-hmm.
Zuckerberg. So I'm gonna go over to this Twitter thing because they show me
Yeah,
how things
exactly. That's
actually
true.
run.
That's true.
Yeah. So I think it's gonna be a rolling ball.
Yeah,
I think people have to get used to it, like you say. They don't trust him yet, but I think they will.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That could be true. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Yeah, yeah. And but I wanted to add something because they before we talked about Twitter getting rid of many employees in the US, for example, but they didn't only fire people in the US, of course. They also fired people in Germany.
Yeah.
But we don't fire people in Germany. That's what we won't do. So now they shot themselves in the knee with that because they were too fast with firing people. They also send an email notice out. And then people got, because you have to send it by paper in Germany, by mail, to get fired. You can't fire somebody. And even it's not as easy as firing people. You have to tell the person, like you have to say what he did wrong 3 times. He gets 3 strikes and then he's out. So you can't just fire people like in America. And so many people were fired in Germany as well, but they now they shot themselves in the knee because Twitter shot themselves in the knee because now there is a work council forming right now in Germany, and they're gonna sue Twitter to get their job back. And you can do that, and this will work, I think, because they didn't gave the correct notice. But we will see how this story unfolds. There's some news that just came out today, I think, or yesterday. So this is like breaking news, but but that's Germany. That's normal here. So I wasn't surprised, but it was interesting to hear that they also had many layoffs in Germany as well. But here they will have a very tough time to do that.
They're probably not going to be as productive in Germany.
I
got my job back. You can't fire me.
Then they have the US where, okay, the balance sheet is stable now, but then they have the liability of Germany. Maybe they close the offices down here. I don't know. Yeah, but we will see. But interesting that we could clarify that a little bit. I liked how you told us your angle on this situation, and you had interesting points on that. So I'm glad I asked that question. But today I really want to talk about something else. We could start talking about Tesla again now, with Gordon Johnson, because in your last video you've had this like golden scene of Gordon Johnson talking about how Tesla will fail. It was a clip from which year? 2018. 18, yeah, exactly.
2018, yeah.
And it was so funny to hear that with the competition.
True competition were coming that year. You know. Oh man, they were in trouble.
And that's
the Jaguar e-tron was coming.
Yeah, it's so funny. Yeah, I have to add something there because a friend of mine, maybe we can start with that. A friend of mine, he's very near the automotive sector. He works in R&D, research and development, in a huge company that is focused on that. He's in the in research in the research field for the automotive sector. With e-mobility as well, he makes cooling systems for engines and develops that. And he said to me that it turns out that Mercedes, BMW, and Audi, I think, gave up on the mass market entirely. The trend was already showing that they didn't try to produce mass market products because the automotive sector is declining right now. We know the numbers, and or the statistic. We've seen it. We have a feeling on. I don't have the numbers in my head now, but we see the trend. And but it's interesting to hear that because even VW is struggling with mass production. The last manufacturer of like the big German mass producing EV manufacturer, or they wanted to do that, but now they're scrapping their plans because it's too difficult of a problem. And this is a pivotal moment right now that we have. And I think people don't really realize what's happening there. That's why I want to ring this bell again a little bit louder, because people don't realize it's the first time they really said that we lost, more or less. It's the facade is crumbling now. Now you see it. Everything that we predicted before, now you see it unfold, and now the bell curve will be switching more and more exponential. They see the numbers, they can't deny it anymore, and that's a huge pivotal moment right now. So I want to talk about that. So maybe you have some points on the competition of Tesla, because we all know the fundamentals are insane with Tesla. But yeah, we can talk
Yeah, I
about that.
really think this is. If people understood what is just happening, I think this should be headline news in all mainstream media, and they should talk about it. But you can't really find it in many places that it's a huge big deal, because I think it's a huge big deal.
It is.
Because Volkswagen have been saying they will catch up to Tesla. They said that also way back, that they will be bigger than them in 2018, but that kind of didn't happen.
No,
But
not really.
then they said they will catch up to Tesla now, and they said it as early as it was this year, I believe. Actually, it was because Ford and GM and everybody was coming out this year. I believe I made a video about it this year, that
Yeah.
Volkswagen was also coming out and saying
Hmm.
they would beat Tesla in 2025 or something like that. But that was because of all the Trinity platform and their next generation of EVs, where they would make the $25,000 car also the little cheaper one. But as Herbert said, it would not be possible before the next Trinity platform
Hmm.
that is now being delayed to end of the decade. In my opinion, when the race is almost over.
Yeah. 20 million
Yeah,
EVs, or let it just, maybe we slash it in half. 10 million EVs from Tesla in 2030.
yeah, sure.
That's really realistic in my opinion.
Yeah,
Like as big as Toyota and VW, like
yeah,
in that size. Yeah,
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, so that's and the Chinese are coming, and they are actually coming quite fast, I might add. I think the EVs we are seeing right now, like the MG4 or even VinFast with their V8, VF8, I think
Hmm.
I've seen that in person as well. It's like that is a very well built Vietnamese car. What the hell?
Hmm. Yeah, it's
They actually
totally
very
surprising.
decent, and Sandy Monroe was also very surprised or very pleased with the build quality of that car,
Hmm.
and said there was no panel gaps issues or anything, and the software looked awesome.
Hmm.
They tested it out in the car and had cool seat in the back and all that kind of stuff, and it's cheaper than the ID4,
That's
and
so
it's a direct
ridiculous.
competitor, and it has more stuff and is more capable and great software and cool seats. And so, like, I read an article from an German automotive journalist that also said, like, what German fought off the Japanese back in the day with high quality, they're not doing that with EVs.
Yeah,
They have
they
a hard
can't.
time, like especially Volkswagen, in my opinion, because they just made an EV.
Yeah.
Period. They didn't make great technology. Can it drive itself? No. No. Does it have a front end? No. No. Does it have great software? Not really. you know. So
So
compared to
ridiculous.
the competition, we don't even have to compare it to Tesla. We can just compare it to the Chinese, and they fall behind. Like the MG4,
Hmm.
it's $10,000 cheaper than the ID3, but it's kind of the same kind of type of car.
Hmm.
And the MG4 can do more. It can actually do vehicle to load and have great software and stuff like that. So, and it can charge just as fast, pretty much. So, and has the same kind of range, but you save $10,000. I'm like, yeah, if you're not a hardcore Volkswagen fan, who would buy that ID3 over the new MG4?
Yeah, exactly. I think German auto had their advantage was brand, but
Yeah.
they established their brand in the internal combustion engine field. That
Yes.
now is a problem. But uh, like the approach that the Chinese companies do, I think they will be having a hard time if they're. It's more about the names, just plain the names or the company names. If it's a Chinese, very Chinese name, then they might have a hard time because people associate not quality with the Chinese.
Yeah.
So, but MG, they know MG. So the approach that Chinese companies bought up
Yeah.
brands in Europe is one of the smartest strategies that they could do, and they, because production, and even people don't know that the I think the main public doesn't know that they associate with Chinese stuff like things that can break easily, like the
Yeah.
Japanese stigma that they also had in the 80s, for example, with their cars, that, oh no, Japanese stuff, oh, German build quality. It's a very big thing also in Europe still. But I think they know MG, and they test the vehicle. They don't even know that it's Chinese owned, and then they just using it and say, wow, this is a great EV. It's much better than the ID3, and they know the brand. It's a more or less vintage brand, you could say, like not as established today than it was Like they made those great roadsters. It's an English brand, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, so but people know MG and stuff like that, and also VinFast, for example, also has huge potential here, like you said.
Yeah,
And
but also Polestar.
yeah, Polestar,
Like,
especially
people
Polestar.
like Polestar, and you don't, because people don't really know it's an offspin of Volvo.
Exactly.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is owned by Geely.
Mhm.
So it is a Chinese electric vehicle, but people don't really know that. So that's again a very good move from
Yeah,
the
that's right.
Chinese.
And I think Polestar is a direct competitor, in my opinion, to BMW and Mercedes, for example, because they design is in their focus, like very design focused, like Swedish design, or how they like. Also, I like the belt buckles that the buckles are yellow, for example. It's interesting to see. They really did a great job. Also, the materials, but it's a premium car. You have to say that it's expensive, but it's awesome. It's an awesome car. The software
the
looks
new one
great,
looks
and
great.
they do it right. They did it right with the startup approach, and I couldn't care less about Volvo, for example. If I compare a Polestar to Volvo, I wouldn't care about the electric Volvo in comparison. But yeah, that's just my personal preference. I think Volvo is very, like, many people like Volvo also, of course, and it's like a popular brand. But for me, at least, you can really see the ICE legacy is still attached to the brand Volvo. But Polestar is so different also in the approach, and even the newer Polestar, I don't know what number it is.
Polestar 3.
Yeah, the Polestar 3
that's
SUV
great.
is also now looks more like a Polestar than the Volvo. So they even have their own design language now. That's very interesting. So before that, you could see a little bit the DNA of Volvo, but now they really shift the design. And this is very interesting. And also brands like Genesis, for example, also in the very high luxury segment will.
And I think Volkswagen's problem also is that, we have BMW and Mercedes and Audis. They are like real luxury brands. But Volkswagen is the people's car.
Exactly.
Here in Denmark, we don't see them as that. They are good brand. They're German quality brand, but they're not BMW and they're not Mercedes. They're not Audi. They're good, decent brand.
Yeah, they're commuter's car, like for the average person with an average income. And
exactly.
Very important. The mass. It's the mass. Yeah.
It's the mass car, but it should be a little bit better than Skoda. But I think actually Skoda is kind of beating them right now on the Enyaq compared to the ID4. I would prefer the Enyaq. I think it looks great, and it seems like I have a friend that I got one, and that seems like a nice electric car. So I can't see why I should get the ID4 over the Skoda Enyaq, but that's just my preference anyway. But again, it's just Volkswagen is kind of finding themselves in this no man's land where they are not a luxury brand and their EVs are not good enough to even beat off the Chinese.
And they're not producing at scale.
Now the next generation platform is going to be like the end of this decade. And they have, because some of the other guys like BMW and their i4 or something like that, it's a nice electric car, big BMW as we know it, and it has decent specs and all that kind of stuff. But Volkswagen has been out saying themselves, their R division that makes the RS8 or whatever, their performance division, has been out saying that they are not going to make an R version on the MEB platform because it's just not good enough. They can't do it. They can't get this 4 to 4.5 seconds 0 to 60 up and running on the MEB platform. It's just not good enough. And that's going to be postponed now. So the whole, you buy a BMW because it has some power and has some luxury. Why do you buy Volkswagen then? You don't have the halo effect of a performance Golf RS something, like they have in the ICE vehicles. So I have, I think this is actually a big problem for them. They're not going to have a halo effect of any performance car anymore when the ICE cars are going to disappear for the next 10 years. I think this is a huge problem for them, and they have an underperforming MEB platform with very buggy software, and they have to work with that for the next 8 years when all the competition is screaming in now. I think they are in huge trouble. Have we talked about this 2 years ago? I said Volkswagen, they are the one that have the best chance of surviving this, but right now, oh, I have kind of taken them down to the bottom of the list and saying, yeah,
Yeah,
they are very big, but they don't come with anything compelling in the EV world, and that's a big
yeah.
problem
Even the
because that's
brand
the
is
future.
problematic in that sense. I think they
Yeah,
might downgrade to like we have to look at statistics, but in my like not researched opinion, I would say that they might slip down to like Peugeot level or even lower because my feeling is that VW was a little bit more premium than the French brands, but now I can see that they're gonna slip down to Fiat or you know what I mean.
yeah,
Not that the cars of Fiat aren't great and they have great cars as well, but the brand perception I think will
yeah,
shrink lower, and
yeah.
that's
And
even
Volkswagen
more
said they would
problematic because
do.
then they need more mass producing cars to keep up with it. And like you said, it is sensible that you say that VW had the best chance of surviving this shift, but because you need mass production, or you've seen that VW is the only one that tries to tackle mass production,
Yeah,
but now they don't.
yeah,
it's
and
it's
Herbert was really trying, in my opinion, because
yeah.
he fought the board of Volkswagen, right? He
Hmm.
was really trying. He invited Elon into their
That was the best move
emergency.
ever. Yeah,
Wow, because he understood, and it was Volkswagen, it was Herbert that went out and said that they produce the ID.3 in 30 hours, and Tesla can do their Model 3 in 10 hours. We need
exactly,
to get to that
exactly.
production. Elon, tell us, how do you do that, right? And that was the whole Trinity platform. That was the new factory they were supposed to build anyway, that they should invest 2 billion euros in, but that seems to also become to a hold because I don't think they're gonna advance anything before they get their software right,
Yeah.
and they say they're gonna be delayed with that software. Even though they have invested $6 billion and 5,000 software engineers from 2020 to 2026, that is not going to be enough time. They need probably 10 years. And that's what we've been saying for so long, that you don't become a software company overnight. And definitely not one. A great software is truly hard, and they have to start from scratch because, like Herbert also said, they hardly one line come from Volkswagen, and now they bought Carrier. But they also show that just because we're a software company, we don't know how to make great software. It's difficult. It's really,
Especially
really hard.
especially you have to integrate it, so it should be like a software. It's like a software division, but you have to integrate it into the DNA of the company. That's the problem, and they didn't do
Yeah,
that. That's just an like an it's
yeah, it's still a
almost
supplier, pretty
outsourced
much.
because they're
Yeah,
so used to outsourcing everything, and it's so ridiculous when you think about how their software is built up. I mean, they before they had
yeah,
a division for the navigation system that was a company that they just paid to get the part of the software. So they have a
yeah.
supplier network of software attachments and plugins, like you could say, and that's so crazy because you can't vertical integrate the software into the whole car because the navigation team their design is even a little bit off. Just put it in, and that's why
Yeah.
it looked so shitty. If you
And that's
pardon
why
my French, but yeah,
software updates is so hard for them, because they have to
exactly.
connect to all their 10 or 20 different software providers to
Yeah,
make sure that their code
yeah,
doesn't mess up their code and
yeah.
their code and their code. It's
That
a
on.
one big mess the way they have done it. And of course, they haven't been able to make over the air updates. And even someone like Alex from from Electric that has been promoting Volkswagen
Mhm.
and loved their software in the beginning because they were also sponsoring of his channel.
Ah,
But he has even been out now saying, "Yeah, I can't do it anymore. It's been 1.5 year now with my ID4, and the software is still so buggy, and the over-the-air update they have promised us has never come
mhm.
in 1.5 year." And we can see it with even, Jaguar I-Pace.
Yeah,
It is pretty much disappearing. I'm so surprised by this. Why? Because it seems like a great electric car. I
yeah.
haven't test drone it on anything, but it seems like a great car, and they can do over-the-air updates back in 2018. And they got like 3 updates within the first year to fix some bugs, and they got some extra things that they were promising their customers. They got that out there, but then there's just been silence for 2 years
Yeah,
or 3 years almost. Yeah, 3 years. They have had no update. It's like, because it's the same kind of crap. It's not Jaguar that makes this. It is like 10 different software companies. So making these updates are very, very difficult for them. And
Yeah. Yeah, on paper, Carriot was a good, seemed like an okay idea, I would say, but on paper. But the problem is how they managed it was horrible. I think Herbert Diess, of course, as a CEO, is also at fault. But the difference, I think, that's very important. He had the right vision. That was the thing. And he also said that was so interesting. That's something I wanted to ask you, especially because you reported on that also very thoroughly. Jim Farley said they have to lay off 40% of their workers when they are switching to EVs because it's less complicated to produce EVs. So they have to change their factory, and suddenly, they're gonna lay off some people. They already say that. Now I get flashbacks from Herbert Diess saying, if we don't get the pacing right, if we don't produce something, then we might get rid of 20% of our workers.
Yeah,
he said that. And the Workers' Council or the Work Council in inside of VW was very, I can imagine, very mad. I don't have insights in that, but also the Porsche P family doesn't want to hear something like that. So the board was riled up because of that he was so public about this. But he was right, because to adjust, you have to produce more cars that are less complicated to build to compensate for the layoffs, so you don't have to lay off work. So that means VW had to even grow in production to keep their staff.
Yeah.
And this is so interesting to see. And now the shift is still happening because technology and innovation doesn't care about your feelings, doesn't care about your workers that you have on the line, doesn't care about your economic problems. It will happen. It just will happen. And Tesla is in such a good pole position, even in a situation where we have supplier problems still and world conflicts, global conflicts. But if somebody can survive, it's going to be Tesla, in my opinion. So, yeah.
Yeah, and as you talked about with Twitter, you can't just fire people in Germany.
Exactly.
And so people are getting right up about Herbert being so open about it, so not German about it.
Exactly.
But he's just trying to tell people that if we don't do this now, it's gonna be much bigger in 10 years' time. Then we're gonna have to lay off half of the staff if we don't lay off some of it now. We have to get lean and efficient, and that was what they're trying to do. And they're trying to copy Tesla's factory and the production and Giga Castings and getting down to 10 hours with their new next Trinity factory that is now we may not see, or definitely not this decade.
And
for sure.
Yeah, and it's also so interesting that, for example, Volvo adapted their Giga press immediately. Like they were the first. I think they copied them.
I think so.
Yeah. But that's the approach. That's how you do it. It's why should you do it if you see it in front of your eyes? That it's. I mean, they should have invested in production at least. If they don't make good software, just invest, buy a Giga press from Hydra directly. Like if you see that, just order one right away. Okay, Hydra, send it over. Here are $10 billion. Everything you have, please supply us that. It's so crazy. Oh man, VW, what's happening?
This is really a testimony to what the short sellers and the haters has been saying for many years, that, like Mark B. Spiegel has famously said, Mercedes could by themselves kill Tesla if they wanted to. They could just ramp up their EV production like it was nothing.
Sure.
And now we see everybody is stumbling on their production of EVs. Is not the same thing as producing a nice car. We can see GM. There's been a lot of talk as well, but they have had their little EV Bolt for many years now. And they made a revamp of it, and then they produced it at the end of, in the middle of 21.
Yeah.
And then they had their battery issue, and they had to lock down. But now they are opening up the production again, so they should just this is not a new product. They have been producing this for years. They should just ramp up like crazy.
Yeah, but they canceled
Berlin
their
has already
orders,
produced more EVs than they had done of their Bolt, and Berlin is a brand new vehicle and how they produce it, and totally different game level, right? So I really think that we can see that Tesla is just showing how good they are at ramping up production compared to the old guys when it comes to EVs anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's almost ridiculous. It's crazy to be at this point now that really it unfolds. It's so interesting because there was so much speculation involved before that. All the information we've all gathered and analyzed were, I mean, they were right on the numbers. They were true, but still, you have to develop a thesis, and sometimes you also think, okay, maybe my thesis isn't as like laser focused, or something is a little bit off, and you're always like, I don't know, maybe we have to adjust this and that, and then you try to get to the truth or to see the path where it's heading. But now, what's so crazy is now it's validated, and it's more and more validated and more validated, and I think now the paradigm shift is now. You can really see it now, and it's crazy that we are at this point now. I mean, we knew that it is way earlier than everybody else speculates, but that it's now, it's so crazy to see it unfold now.
Yeah, because I think it's really just Volkswagen throwing in the towel on catching up to Tesla when they say, okay, we're going to delay everything for at least 4 years or something like that, and not build a factory that is going to catch up with Tesla this decade. If that is not throwing in the towel saying, okay, we can't keep up with Tesla, sorry, we're going to try to survive now and see how that goes, but we can't keep up with Tesla, it's not possible. And GM still think they can, but
yeah,
they're just a lost cause.
Yeah. They really are. Yeah, and I wanted to ask you something about Ford then. So what do you have on Ford? Because I don't really... I'm not as updated on Ford right now because I was looking at VW so closely and at the different companies. So Jim Farley said he wanted, or he sees in the future that they might be laying off 40% of the workers because of production. So maybe you have some information about that. Maybe you can talk about Ford a little bit, because they are the direct competitor to the Cybertruck, at least I would say, with their electric pickups. And this is also on the horizon to 2030. So maybe we can look at Ford a little bit. That might interest our viewers as well.
Yeah, I think to be fair to all the legacy automakers, they really have to balance on a knife edge to make this switch. And that is why they are so... One day Jim Farley is out saying the right thing about EVs, and we have to do this and have to do that. And then the next day you say, we're going to invest in internal combustion engines. Don't you worry. We're going to make new F-150 diesel trucks for you and all that kind of stuff. Because he has to
maneuver carefully
to both customers. So he can't just say, no, we're going to lay off all that ICE shit and then just going to go for EVs. He can't say that. So and nobody of the old legacy automakers can say that, since they're 95 or 98% of their business is still ICE business. So it's so difficult for them, and I feel for them because it's not going to be easy. But I think Ford is actually, I think Jim Farley gets it. But when he says stupid stuff, it's because he's catering to the biggest piece of their business, and they have to say that. And I think that they've done a smart move of making the Ford Model E and the Ford Blue, where the Ford Blue is just the ICE business and the Model E is going to be the EV business. Because when the ICE business is going to fall away, they can just say, okay, I'm going to shut that one off, and now we are Ford Model E. Awesome, great, let's go. But they are still struggling with getting all this up and running. And as Jim Farley said himself, that what keeps him up at night is the production. It is the ramp of these 60 factories that needs retooling, and because they kind of realized how expensive this is. And I think Volkswagen was the best indication of this with the Zwickau factory in Germany that cost 1.3 billion euros to retool. So that asset of a factory was a very expensive asset that they have to retool. And Volkswagen has 135 factories they have to do this to. And Ford and Jim Farley knows this, then they have 60 factories around the world. They have to do this and ramp up to get to like 50% of their capacity right now in 2026 when they want to do 2 million. And that is the most scary thing for Jim Farley. That is the ramp up to 2 million.
Yeah, that's...
And so I think that it's going to be tough for them because they're doing the right thing and they're making some great EVs. I think the Mach-E and the F-150 Lightning, if you buy that one, I think you're going to be very happy with that EV. And the F-150 seems like a cool truck with their cool frunk and everything, and it's very utility kind of a car. So,
of course,
yeah, but it's just because people are like, yeah, but the Cybertruck is going to be a year behind or something. Yeah, but how big are the production of this car, or this F-150 electric, going to be in 1 year? Because they're still like a couple of thousand, a quarter. So it's not, it's nothing yet. It's out there and it's great and it's a great EV, but it's again the production ramp, because I think Tesla is going to come in with a truck that is half the trouble of building. Jim Farley says that they're going to fire 40% because their EVs are so much easier to build. Well, the Cybertruck is going to be even more easy to build. It doesn't have a paint job. It's an exoskeleton that you're just going to put up a battery in and get it out the door.
Get out.
Yeah, it's going to be, when they get it rammed up, because it's also new technology. So, of course, they have some things to learn and iron out all the issues with producing this car. But when they get it up and running, they're going to spit this car out like crazy compared to the F-150. And sure, if the F-150 had made 50,000 EVs at that point, I don't think they will at that point. But if they do, that great. But the market in the US is 1 million Ford F-150 Lightning. So it's like nothing in the market. And then Tesla is going to come in and just...
Yeah, we have our Cybertrucks here. If you like, you could take the Cybertruck.
You can have this one over here. Yeah, it can tow that.
It's bulletproof, by the way.
Yeah.
They
it can tow your little plastic car over there if you like.
Or you can take this utilitarian, and that's so smart because it's a utility car, so it has to be tough. And if you market your Ford F-150 as a tough thing on the dirt track, you're riding around on your Ford F-150,
made of
or you
plastic.
Hummer EV, and then you have this out of the world tank that's rolling around the Cybertruck, and
it's gonna last for 20 years.
It doesn't have crab walk, but we will see. Maybe they have adjusted steering. They will, and they can just adapt it. And what I found so funny is that also the Tesla Q and the people who are against Tesla or spreading their like concerns all the time. It's so funny to hear that the big boys are coming, the competition is coming, and they're gonna. They already released the F-150 Lightning. That's already a pickup truck. They are the first on the market with an electric pickup truck, and they're gonna ramp up and stuff. Yeah, the competition is coming in snail speed. Like, it's just like, okay, we're gonna reach 1,000 production numbers. Then the Cybertruck is like, okay, maybe we're gonna start production right now. Should we start? Okay, let's just start. And then they start, and suddenly it's like, it will be brutal. It will. I mean, maybe they reach 1,000 production, like 20,000 Cybertrucks end of the year 2023. But boy, I want to see 2024 how they're gonna ramp up.
Yeah, so I think Ford is doing a good job. They are focusing on making a good product, and it really seems like they're doing that. And I think GM's new Silverado seems like
they look great. I really love them. They
have no problem with their EVs. They are great. It's the ramping off of them that is ridiculous. When we look at GM, when the Hummer EV, like 400 in Q3 or what, I can't remember the numbers, but they're like, what the hell? You've been producing this for almost a year now. Come on, man. And the Cadillac Lyric is also having trouble and was recalled, and not many numbers was actually produced. And they only have the Bolt still, and it's like 14,000 in a quarter they produced, even though it's an old product. They should just be able to ram this bad boy up and get them out, because it's a very affordable EV. Why wouldn't you like this one?
Yeah.
It's not a Tesla, it's not a Ford Mach-E, it's not, a BMW i4 or anything, but it's the car that people are kind of screaming about. We want an affordable EV.
Yeah.
Well, here you go. You have the Bolt EV. It can't charge that fast, but it has decent range. As a commute car, why not? So, but it's not ramping up. It's the ramping up I don't
Yeah.
think people get. That, yeah, sure, the F-150 is out now, but what are they going to produce this year? Like less than 10,000, and next year 25, 50, even 50,000. That would be great,
Hmm.
but still nothing. Still nothing. I think when people see, because we can see how Tesla is ramping up the Model Y and how fast that is going to go.
Yeah.
The Berlin factory started in April. I can't remember the exact date, on May or something,
Yeah, I
with
think.
real production. They had their delivery event, but I think
Hmm.
the production actually started a bit
Yeah.
later in May. So it's from May and to the end of the year here, they're going to produce at least 50,000,
Yeah.
if not more. I think they have already reached 20,000. So, and I believe in Q4 they're going to produce about 45,000 with the ramp they're going for. So maybe 50, 60, 70,000 in the first year
Hmm.
since
It's
May.
crazy.
And I don't believe Ford is going to be able to do that with the F-150 Lightning next year.
Yeah.
I don't believe they're going to get over 70,000 or 75,000 next year for that. So it's the ramping up I really think people are missing here. That,
Totally.
sure, great EVs and they are out now. It's awesome. But when Tesla comes in, what they are able to do is ramping up fast. And they have built a car, designed the car with production in mind as well. This is going to be insane production speed of the Cybertruck. And don't think we know half of what is capable of, because they have, all the way back when they revealed it in 2019, they didn't want to tell what the charging speed were.
Hmm.
And it was, yeah, so there was a lot of things that they didn't want to tell us. And they have had 3 years to do innovation on this truck, as they do every single day. So, and they have seen Ford come out with their F-150 Lightning, saying, that's great. And then the Silverado is coming out, saying,
Hmm.
oh, crab walk, or the Hummer EV with crab walk, or the
Hmm.
Silverado with they can lower the mid gate of the car,
Hmm.
so they can put. Oh, that's a great idea.
Hmm.
Let's do that.
Hmm. Yeah.
I think the Cybertruck is going to be an absolutely beast
Hmm.
compared to what we've seen so far, and I think they can also be very competitive on price,
Hmm.
because they are earning a lot of money on their EVs, and Ford is not
That
earning
might
anything.
surprise
And
people, I think. The price
yeah,
of the Cybertruck might surprise people because why should they? They don't have to do it really, because I think people will, at least the people that pre-ordered, the 2 million people that pre-ordered, or the 1.5 million, but it should be way over 2 million, I think, now at this point. I didn't check the numbers, but
no, no,
I've heard the number 1.5 million, but
yeah,
since then I haven't heard an update. But yeah, people will be surprised by the price. Maybe even if it's more expensive, it will sell like hotcakes. It
yeah,
will be it will be one of the first like one of the first legendary cars. I think, like, we have those like collectors cars, and the Cybertruck
mm,
is absolutely like also a luxury in quotes luxury collector's car. I think many stars will buy that. So that means the influence of this car will be massive,
yeah,
because it's out of this world, and people who are in the entertainment industry,
yeah.
I think they will love this car, and I will see that this car might be more popular even in the like in the and like in the showing off part of the car
Yeah, it's
community.
like the
And
most
yeah,
badass truck. You might not like it, but it looks like something out of a
but you
sci-fi
still
movie,
want
and it's
to sit
already in
into
rap
that thing.
movies.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's already in rap music movies, right? It's
yeah,
that crazy looking.
yeah.
But I really think people are taking the looks too seriously.
Hmm.
Like, oh, nobody's gonna buy that one. It's
Because
definitely
of that,
the
they're gonna.
companies that are going to use this as a utility vehicle don't care. Quite the opposite.
Yeah,
This is going to turn heads, and then your phone number and your
yeah,
company
exactly,
name is on the side.
exactly.
They're not going to look at the Ford F-150 come and drive the road, even though it's a Lightning, because it looks like all the other Ford F-150s. Nobody cares. They all over the place. But a Cybertruck will turn heads, and you will see the company name on that side. I think it's going to be an advertising marvel, and at the same time, it's going to be probably the best EV you can buy for money,
Hmm.
because it's going to have 500 miles of range. It's going to be towing like crazy amount, and it can charge, I believe, very fast. We will see how fast it
Hmm.
goes, but I think this truck is going to be able to do so many things and go everywhere. And with that amount of range and at that price, I think it's going to be the car to get. If you don't like the looks, yeah,
Yeah.
sure, that's something else. But everybody who don't care about the looks will get the most valuable. You get most value for money in the EV world. Like
Hmm.
Tesla Loop has said, they have bought a lot of them because, like, yeah, it's not gonna dent, it's not gonna rust. It can run for 2 million miles, and they can seat 6 people, so they can make a taxi service from San Francisco to Seattle or something like that, and
They
it's
have
gonna be
enough
cheap.
space in the trunk for
Yeah,
cargo
for
and
cargo, it's
package.
gonna be an awesome commuting
Yeah.
car. It's a little bus, It's
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, and to put in perspective of the amount, because Volkswagen, no, no, fuck, sorry, Ford and GM
Hmm.
is out. Yeah, we got 200 pre-orders of this truck and so on, and it's great. It should show you
Yeah.
that your Silverado is the most pre-ordered car
Hmm.
GM has ever had in their 120-year history. People want EVs, GM. Yes, exactly.
Wow.
That it
You
was. This should
notice? Wow.
show. Yeah,
Produce them,
great.
please.
And the Model 3 was the most pre-ordered car in history with their 400,000. And then Cybertruck comes in and over 1 million, like boom, like this is gonna
Yeah.
be, and that is gonna be devastating to Ford. I think. I think this is really gonna
Yeah.
kick into their game because that is their bread and butter. That's the F-150 Lightning, and they're not going to be able to produce that many of them. They're aiming for 2 million in 2026, but yeah, they just up their target. But where are you going to get the batteries? Where are you going to get the materials? Where are you going to
That's
get
the
the
next
chips and
thing.
all that?
I'm
That's this whole supply chain issue. Tesla has really showed off how brilliant they are at that, and how much control they have of this, and how fast they can
absolutely.
move. And Ford is like, oh shit, we need to say 2 million in 2026, or we look stupid. We
Yeah.
can't keep up with Tesla then.
Yeah.
Okay, then go out, say that. How are we going to build them? We don't know. We'll see. We'll try to ask LG Kim or
Please
SKI
give me
for more.
batteries.
More batteries, please. But where are they going to get all that materials from? It's
That's also something that's hugely overlooked right now because we have all the
yeah,
buzz around Twitter and blah blah blah. It really isn't important if you look at Tesla about the impact that Tesla will have. I think it's even a good thing that Elon Musk is off the books, right, or more or less off the Tesla story, because the Tesla story was driven by Elon Musk so much, and now Tesla can really show we don't really need Elon Musk. You
yeah,
see, I mean, he still manages every company at the same time. We don't have to forget that. I think
yeah,
he, like I said in the last episode with Farzad, you might have 10 phones,
yeah,
16 phones at the same time calling, and I think he has to put out fires that we can't even imagine the amount of stress that he has to go through. But
yeah,
um, even without Elon Musk in the picture, I think Tesla is in such a good position now to show, it doesn't matter if he's here or there. We're gonna operate like crazy, like you've never seen before. It's so ingrained in their DNA right now. The Elon DNA is so ingrained in Tesla also that I
yeah,
think it just will work, and that will show people. Wait a second, especially the institutional investors will see. Oh, wow, we don't need Elon Musk. Okay, so this means this company is absolutely healthy. Great, uh, let's invest fast, and then the stock will go
mm,
up like crazy. But what I think people really overlook is this point that um, in times of a crisis, Tesla had huge amounts of money thanks to all the investors, all the people that poured money into the company in the war chest to have a contract volume that is like never seen before in the EV space, like never. They buy the most amount of the lithium. They buy all the batteries they can get their hands on. They partner with Chinese companies, even the competition, for example. It doesn't care. They don't care. Like
yeah,
BYD gets their they experiment with the blade batteries as well, and
yeah,
this will be so interesting to see that they have this big huge position, and they're like in the starting the finish line already, or in the starting line for the race with like huge amounts of advantages. And now it's just like if it's 2023, it's gonna just start and just roll over everybody. Like the tank is rolling already. Like they don't stop. They don't stop. And like you said, Ford or GM can announce that they will produce 2 million cars. They can announce everything. Yeah. They can announce unicorn if they want.
Yeah, and GM has just like backpedaled on their targets. Like they wanted to produce 400,000 in 2023, but now it's 400,000 with 2022, 2023, and the half of 2024 numbers combined.
Like BMW with
this should be in the news, in headlines. Like they are crapping all over themselves right now. It's unbelievable. They can just go out and say this stuff and then just half a year later they're like, oh no, wait a minute, we didn't mean that.
Yeah.
1 million EVs sold in the US in 2025. It's globally now. Now it's globally. Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah, they just say stuff.
Just less.
Unbelievable they can get away with this. But it's also like you say with the supply chain and the batteries, because GM has also upped their target from 160,000 they wanted to produce in 2025 2 years ago, and now it's 2 million. Like,
of course.
It's like crazy ramp they want to do, and they still only partnered up with LG Chem, and they only have nickel batteries. They don't have LFP batteries or anything else. It's one battery from one supplier still. They got into the refining a little bit, but it's not. They are not. They're not going to the mines. They're just partnering with a refining company still. So it's not the same thing, because people are like, oh, they're doing what Tesla's doing.
Nah, not really.
Not really.
Look
they're
closely.
Not going for the mines. They're not going for the raw materials. It's a refining company. What Tesla want to become next year in 2024, they want to become, refining company, right? So, but they just asking a refining company. But anyway, they're just not very flexible. If they're nickel shortage, they can't get batteries. If LG Chem is down, can't get batteries. We saw that last year. Production stopped completely. Tesla has all the major players in the battery industry: BYD, CATL, LG Chem, everybody. Tesla has batteries from them, and it's different kind of batteries. It's nickel batteries, it's LFP batteries, it's nickel manganese batteries, it's blade batteries. You make a battery, send it to us, we'll buy it, we'll put it in our cars. That's how
we're gonna figure it out how to. Yeah,
it is. Yeah, nobody else has this flexibility as Tesla has, and nobody's going out like Tesla did and say, we will buy as many batteries as you want to sell us.
Yeah.
Ford is not going to go out and say that. They're going to say, SKI, we want to build one factory that can produce about 60 gigawatts. That would be nice. Let's do that. Yeah. Okay,
they're running around like it's like they're running around with a blank check. Like, here's a blank check, right? Yeah. Everything on it, but supply us the stuff. You're going to just take the check and write it yourself. It doesn't matter. We want everything you got. Please, everything. And this is a contract volume that you have to understand that GM is also competing with the contract volume of Tesla. That's also something that is overlooked. They just have so much money in the war chest right now, and people are supporting the company so much, and they really deliver on their promises. They even raise prices to get get a head start with inflation, and was a great move. Now they can lower it. And then everything is like seen like, the price is dropping. It's $5,000 less now. I'm gonna buy it now, maybe before they raise prices again. And also, what comes into play is FOMO, a fear of missing out. At Tesla is enormous. Also, like the early adopters are like going crazy with, I gotta order it before it gets even more expensive, stuff like that. But I think. For the European market, especially, we as Europeans living here, we know that the smaller car is the most important thing for the European market, the mass market. So if nobody wants to tackle the mass market because they can't, okay, what's on the table? Yeah, maybe some French cars, the Bolt EV, maybe that's okay, but maybe the cheapest one, maybe the Tesla that is built up on the robotaxi platform, that's something that would be interesting, maybe, because they have a track record of producing great EVs. They have great software, and the tests will speak for themselves. And especially if production is ramped That means
Yeah.
the quality gets better. Because if the more you produce, the better you get with the details. If you're taking the time to produce the car, but don't rush anything. But still, if you ramp up production, it tends to get better and better. The mass production.
Volkswagen had just thrown in the towel on that 20 or that cheap electric vehicles because that was the Trinity platform they need for that. And they're not going to do that this decade, pretty much. So, Tesla's going to do it in 2 years, in 2024. And as they announced, they can produce that car at half the cost they do today. And we know, because they said so, that they went down from 86,000 for them in cost to produce an EV back with the Model S and X to now it's $36,000 to produce the Model 3 and Model Y. And the next platform is going to be half the price. So that is $18,000. And it should be able to produce in half the time and half the space, So the factory of 4 million that I made a whole video about a couple of years back is looking more and more realistic that they could do it. I'm not sure they're going to do it, that they want to have 4 million cars coming out of one place. That's also going to make them a little bit vulnerable, like we see with the lockdown in China. So if that factory suddenly shut down, that's not good. So maybe they just want to make, as Elon said, 1.5 to 2 million vehicles per gigafactories. But that could be the size of the Berlin factory right now would be able to produce 1 million. It's going to be insane when that car comes out. And that is going to flood the European market because the Chinese are coming now, but they're not ramping up as fast as Tesla is. So even in 2024, 2025, there's going to be a lot on the market, but not in the volume that I think Tesla is going to be able to do it in. I think that car is going to, take them from this level to, getting close to that 10, 15, 20 million, whatever it's going to be in 2030. That's really going to be the game changer car.
Yeah, absolutely. It's totally crazy. And even, I mean, if they have the support of Texas, for example, just Texas, just a great support inside of Texas in Austin where they are. And just, they have space for 10 gigafactories.
Yeah.
I mean, they could, or more even, I think 15 or something like that, or at least 10. So they can build 10 Texas gigafactories.
They can build one more Texas gigafactory at that site, just pumping out this little small car.
Yeah, exactly. For example,
and pump out 4 million by itself. And in the US, I don't think there is this kind of problem of, what if something happens? It's US in the US car maker, and I don't think there's going to be any issues over there.
Exactly. So they can like if they centralize, they can centralize also there, and they're like flexible. They can like expand the Chinese factory, for example, which they did already, and also in Berlin. This will be a little bit more tricky to expand in Berlin, of course, because we all know what's happening there with the environmental
But they're already doing
groups.
it. They're already making ready for the second phase.
Exactly.
And, I think that is also a very overlooked thing about Tesla in the general public is the chess move they have made with the Berlin factory and the Texas factory, that they said, okay, in Germany, we're going to start with one phase of the factory, where in Texas, they just, no problem over here. And we know
do what you want. It's your land.
We're going to build this huge bad boy in Texas. No worries. Let's go. But in Germany, I think they wanted to check out the market and make sure that there was this demand for their cars and so on. But that is 500,000 from one phase. Then we have the next phase, and they have also said it's going to be 500,000. So we know this factory is going to be able to produce 2 million vehicles. That is pretty much just for the European market. That is bigger than any other European automaker in Europe. I believe Volkswagen has been up at 1.8 or something million vehicles produced and sold in Europe. So that factory, that one factory, is going to be the dominating force in the European car market. I don't really think people get this. When this is ramped up, just that one factory, they're going to be the biggest boy in Europe. Yeah. It's just madness.
It's insane. It's insane. And also what I found so interesting is when we are talking here about the Berlin factory in Giga Berlin in Brandenburg, is that I've made a video about like Tesla stole the last advantage that German auto had, the quality, and the German engineers especially. And you can really see that already, because now we have the new paints, for example. They're just produced in Berlin, in the Giga Berlin factory. So these new silver and new red, for example, the coating. It's a complicated paint process, but like Germans are good in standardization and stuff like that. So they're really good in standardization. So this standardization stuff can be implemented in Texas because it's the same company. They know why can they do the paint job better? What tools do they have? We're gonna buy those tools and ship them just over, make a carbon copy of this part of the factory, and we just put it here, and now we can produce it in Texas as well. So the synergies that is going to be built just because they have the German engineers as well is absolutely crazy. I don't say that the Texan engineers aren't also good. They we
can have different qualities.
Exactly, and
just
having
like
different cultures is such a good thing. Yeah. Also, the Chinese have a way different work ethic as the US, for example. But they can really pick cherries now. They just pick the sweet cherries and berries from the different factories and the benefits, and they just can morph them together a little bit to have a never seen before company. Then I think it's like,
and we also see that with that they are taking 200 employees from the Shanghai factory, and they are right now at the Fremont factory.
Oh, crazy! I didn't hear that. That's a big news for me.
Yeah. Crazy. So we don't know what for, but probably because they want to help them ramp up production and use the space they have there, because the Fremont is a mess of a factory, but it's still a huge area, so they can still become much more efficient. And they are at 12,000 units a week now, but they want to go to 14,000 a week, and I think that's what the Chinese people are over there helping them with. And the Germans can come and help with some design issues and paint job and all that kind of stuff. But I also think this makes the Model Y in Germany a little bit more luxurious or more sought after item, because the new cherry red, I think it looks awesome. So I of course went in and checked, could I buy a Model Y cherry red, but then the wait time is already all the way out to May now.
Okay.
Where if I buy some of the other Model Ys, I can get it in 2 months. So it's like, oh yeah, that's already like, oh, that's the golden boy now. That cherry red Model Y from Germany. Oh,
but even silver looks great. I was so astonished because I hate silver cars. I hate it. I hated it from Mercedes, and I hated it like it was such a trend color, like from I think 2002 till I don't know. But and now I see the silver one. I'm like, that's kind of sexy. And the problem is also I've pre-ordered my Cybertruck, and the journey is not over. I was the great thing was I was anticipating that there will be so huge delays that I have more income when I get this. I was calculating that in. I've ordered it at the beginning of 2020. So great timing right after the announcement, like 2 weeks later. After I watched Stephen Mark Ryan's video about the Cybertruck, I was like, I need that one. Like just 100 euros or something as down payment, like, which is a huge loan for Tesla for free, which is crazy. And great idea, great strategy that they did it so low because people just pre-ordered it. And the problem now is, of course, will the Cybertruck be legal in Europe? And I want to become a millionaire before that I can lobby in Europe to get it on the roads. But no, I would be so sad if there will be no European version. I hope they're gonna do that, because I think many people also ordered it. It might be a surprise. I want to have the number how many pre-orders from Europe is for the Cybertruck. It really interests me, but I want to get this thing here above every other car. But when I see something like the silver and the cherry red, the new coatings of the Model Y, it's so attractive. And I always get mails from Tesla. Oh, how about a test drive? Why don't you test drive? They're whispering in my ear, stop it, Tesla, please. Not now. I'm still waiting for my Cybertruck. Stop talking to me.
So I really think that's also like, this is going to give a little German touch on the Model Y. They have this special one from Germany. I think that's
maybe so they can have the quality, the luxury
It's gonna come to the other
attachment.
places afterwards, but for now, it's like, yeah, that cherry red from Germany.
Ah,
That's
shit,
that's
I
the
gotta
one
get
you want,
those.
right?
Ah,
But
yeah.
I also think also I actually is baffled a little bit about how difficult it is for the German automakers to get a big foothold in China.
Hmm.
Even Mercedes, because when they came out with the EQS, I was like, yeah, I think they've done a great job here. They kept their luxury inside. It looks very nice. I've not tried it, but it looks very Mercedes kind of
Hmm.
feel. But they have made sure it had a great range, like over 700 kilometers or
Hmm.
something. It's like, wow, that's good, perfect. That's what you need in your big luxury Mercedes. You want long range,
Hmm.
and it can charge with 200, I believe,
Yeah, I
kilowatts.
believe so. It's like the
Yeah,
battery. It's super heavy, this thing, but still,
yeah, but
yeah,
still, but
yeah,
it,
not
that's
efficient, but
okay.
yeah.
It's not 100 or 125
Mm.
kilowatts. Like, yeah, that's good. And then they had the 0 to 60 in 3.8 or something like
Hmm.
that. I believe the most powerful version is. And like, yeah, it doesn't have to be like a plaid Model
Exactly.
S. Like, "Phew,
It's
this
a
is gonna be
limousine.
catering
Yeah.
to their customers. This is awesome. It's a powerful, long range, fast charging EV with luxury inside. This is a Mercedes electric car. I thought, yes, that's perfect.
Hmm.
Great job,
Yeah.
Mercedes. That's the car you're supposed to make here. Make your own version of an electric car. But then we see here in China, they sell like 100 a month, and they have just cut the price with $33,000. Like, oh my God, that's a big price cut.
Thirty-three
Maybe
thousand is ridiculously high.
that's like what? That's a car.
They just
They
cut
just
the
cut
whole
off a
car out
car.
of the price.
Yeah.
Yes.
And maybe it's because the Model S Plaid is coming. I believe the ships are actually arriving right now, or sailing from one is sailing from San Francisco right now, and coming to China. I can only imagine that
Yeah.
would be Plaid Model S. So they should be starting here in December. We should see the release of that car over
Yeah.
there, and
Yeah.
that is
I think they have the same problem as VW. Like I've said, I think in the last episode we talked also that Darren Jung told me that he had somebody. He interviewed somebody who was working inside of Tesla, VW, locally, a
yeah
local dealer, and yeah, it was crazy. The Chinese customers came in. Where's the frunk? Where's the
yeah.
software? How's the software? Ah, okay,
Can it drive
great.
itself? No,
Can
no.
okay,
Okay, yeah.
okay, goodbye. And then I mean
How
they have
fast is it?
how fast?
Oh, that's
Oh,
not
how
good.
expensive is it? Because it's still a German car, so that means the markup is still higher than the
Yeah,
local Chinese cars. And then they're like, I can get more luxury from a Chinese brand, or I can just go to Tesla right across the street and look at the beautiful frunk there. Uh,
yeah,
yeah, and stuff like that. So I think Mercedes has the same problem in that
yeah,
regard, that they just, okay, yeah, luxury interior, great, but the Chinese are stepping up their game with the luxury interior
yeah,
because there's a demand, so they're gonna see that, and they learned that already, so
yeah,
they can produce it. They produce for European automakers all the time, so
yeah.
they really learned that. So
Yeah, but I
I
still
don't
think it's
see an
it's kind of
advantage now.
surprising to me that in that segment, because it's an expensive car, but it's allowed to be an expensive car. It's a Mercedes, but that they are finding it so hard to sell a car in China. I think that's quite. I'm kind of baffled about that. Like just like the
Yeah,
Jaguar I-Pace
yeah.
that is disappearing. Like
Nobody
they are
talks about.
producing probably about 1,000, delivering 1,000
Hmm.
here in Europe this year. They have delivered less than 900 last time I checked a couple of weeks back. And in 2019, they delivered 12,000. Last year it was 7,000. And now it's 1,000.
I
They're going down.
yeah.
Like, that's not a bad EV. Why
Hmm.
are people not buying that
Yeah,
car?
crazy. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I think it's a huge branding problem as well, because now we see that like, what is the Mercedes brand even in the EV space?
yeah,
There is nothing. They haven't produced EVs. Now they produce EVs, but can they adapt their AMG hardcore like performance cars, or their luxury Maybachs to electric? Uh, Maybach maybe, because it's so special, the S class, but the EQS and stuff like that.
yeah.
I don't really know, because
But I also
yeah,
think
it's crazy.
maybe this is because they have been dragging their feet so much.
Yeah, too long.
Because
A little bit too long, like 3
a
years
little
too
bit too
long.
long, because we can also see, like I just made a video about this whole Dieselgate scandal
Exactly.
and
Go
and
check
all of
it out,
this.
link in the description or here in the card somewhere, because over
Yeah.
there or over there, I don't know. Check it out, but come back
we
to
can
the
see, like in 2020, every EV maker, even Kia and Hyundai, that has been making EVs for a long time, and they make great EVs, has nothing to put a finger on there. Really awesome.
Yeah, Hyundai
But
crushing it right now. So yeah,
yeah, exactly.
with
And Kia
design.
EV6 looks awesome as well. But they are just producing just below the target they have to in Europe. It's like not Volkswagen missed in 2020. That's why they made the whole big push of the ID3 in the last quarter of 2020. That was the best quarter ever for the ID3, like a huge smile,
Yeah,
because they just pushed them all out to the dealerships. But anyway, they just make enough cars to not get a fine. So they're really not pushing. It's not like
so
you,
sad.
you can't find anyone that is like, this is the target, and we like down here halfway. We make half as much or more than we need to. No, everybody is just beneath the target, and that's why some of them have to buy credits from someone like Tesla and other EV makers, because then there's supply chain issues, and like, oh shit, now we are over the target. Oh, we have to buy some credits over there from NIO or Xpeng or whoever. Tesla is still going to get $1.6 billion in regulatory credit this year from the competition that is just handing them money, because
Here,
I
please.
think they said we are only gonna produce the amount we are forced to produce, and that's why they are on their heels right now. They have not really prepared for this huge ramp that is going on in the EV world right now, and I think that's a big problem for them, that they're just caught off guard. They thought
Totally.
we're going to produce what we are forced to produce, because EVs, it's not going to be before 2040 and whatever. Ford and GM themselves thought they would produce 160 EVs in 2025. It's like, what? 2 years ago. So they have really been caught off guard here, and I think because they just want to make, it's a compliance car still for them in their mindset. They are only making them because they have to.
Yeah.
Or they have to start to realize,
Yeah,
yes,
because
you
they are in a different
have to
business. They're
make it,
still
or
in
it's
the
the
yeah,
future. Yeah, it's the future of
yeah.
the car. You are not going to be in the car industry if you don't make this car.
But this is the biggest trouble for them, of course, because they have to switch. I mean, like if we look outside, besides the Nordic countries where EV adoption is like way higher, more or less.
Yeah.
But if you look at, if we walk around Germany here, I don't see many EVs. Still many BMWs, many VWs. So this is the reality. Also, the secondary market is full of gasoline cars. Okay,
Yeah.
or diesel cars. So yeah, the reality seems like the ICE business will boom for the rest of eternity. Of course, no, we are inside of this shift, and I get that people from the outside of the Tesla community always think like, "What the hell are you talking about? Come on, I won't buy an EV." Yeah, but until you do, like you don't buy an EV until you have to or until you do, and that will be sooner than the people think. If they come out with a cheap car, the whole street will be full of EVs. And of course, we have to tackle the energy problematic in Germany. Also, it also has so much to do with energy distribution and energy, like yeah, and because they need to be charged, we need more charging networks. We need more power grids, like stronger power grids, of course. But yeah, the demand is there. So I think this will get faster and faster. The pacing of this innovation also.
And it's also, it's kind of unfair almost with Tesla, because the more they produce, the more money they earn. But that's not the case for the old guys yet.
Exactly.
The more EVs they produce, the more money they lose. So that's why they don't want to make more than they absolutely have to, because they lose money on them. They still earn money on their ICE cars. But that's going to shift very soon when we're going to have this price parity of the ICE and
Yeah.
EVs in a couple of years, in my opinion. And
Totally.
then they're not going to have their sale. The demand is not going to be there for the ICE cars, and they have
Exactly.
not ramped up the EV volumes. We see this in China, actually. They're still losing money, but they're ramping up as fast as they can, because they just want market share.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
If
Yeah.
I can get 5% market share of the EV world, that's going to become the automatic or the transportation sector, right? That's just going to be the overall market at some point.
Exactly. Yeah.
So and then we're gonna start earning money on it. We just have to stay alive long enough and just make sure we get a big piece of the market.
Of course.
But
Yeah.
the old guy is not really doing that. We have a big piece of the market and we're just gonna take it really slowly and boom, then the market is gone. And
Yeah.
their old piece of the market is no longer there.
Yeah.
So I think the Chinese are actually quite clever about this. They don't care about them losing money right now. They just want to become big and have a big piece of the market. And Tesla is almost unfairly positioned in that they are making a huge amount of money on their EVs. So they're just going to ramp up. And we're going to see this as we've been talking about buybacks and all this kind of stuff, because they're going to be drowning in money next year. In my predictions, I think their net income, so the absolute bottom line, is going to be $20 billion next year. I think they're going to produce 2.5 million next year, 50,000 a car. They're going to get the automotive business by themselves is going to get over $115 billion by themselves. And then they have everything else. So, yeah, I think they're going to be swimming in money next year. And I think this is going to be very, very clear that they're going to produce more net income with 2.5 million vehicles than what Toyota did with 10.5 million vehicles. I think that's going to be 2023 is going to be the year where everybody's just going to, okay,
we're done.
We're done. We can't do this. Yeah.
Sorry that I'm not concentrating on what you say. I have to order some stock right now. No, no financial advice at this point. But yeah, I also see that like the stock price is so ridiculous right now. It's just hilarious. I mean,
I have also
180
to my investment account to make sure when it starts going up again, I'm gonna push the buy button. Go down.
Yeah, but yeah, it's crazy what's happening, and I think
but it's so tough. I
yeah,
really,
it's
so tough for the old guys. I really feel for them because it's like you can't make enough EVs because you're going to lose money.
Yeah.
If you don't produce enough, you're going to get fines. You also have to retool all your factories. That's going to cost you billions and billions of dollars. I don't even think people really get this about Volkswagen retooling over 100 factories. That's going to be $100 billion, just that alone. They have to wind down their companies. That means that suppliers are going to go bankrupt for the ICE business long before they can wind down and still have the warranty and all that stuff.
Service.
We have already see EBM pads or something in Germany that supplied
EBM pumps,
that supplied heat pumps or something for the
ventilation ventilators.
Ventilations, yeah, exactly. But now they want to go for data centers and refrigerators or something. I can't remember.
Cooling of data centers. It's or heating and cooling of data centers. Yeah.
So that's already one supplier that's seeing the writing on the wall. Yeah, they're going to be out of business soon with this part of the business anyway. We're going to move our business over here instead, where data centers, that's going to be something forever, right?
Future,
yeah, sure, absolutely. Let's do that instead. So that's already suppliers leaving. So that's just like, it's just such a mountain they stand in front of. I have a hard time seeing how they're going to, I don't think anybody of the old boys is going to be surviving with the amount of vehicles they have right now.
Yeah, they're going to wind down.
But they're going to be smaller.
Yeah, like my friend said, they're going to focus on the luxury segment, but I think this is also a false premise for them, or false goal even for them, I think, or a stupid idea, to say it bluntly, because even if you buy a new Mercedes EQX 5000, the next 10 iterations ahead, then you sit there and try to go into the software and think like, okay, what is this? This is such an expensive car. Why should I use it? The next car I'm gonna buy is not this luxury car. I'm gonna buy something else. I'm gonna buy a Genesis. I'm gonna buy a Polestar. I'm gonna buy something else. So I think it will hurt now we see that it will hurt their brand so much because they were so long marketing their cars in the diesel field or in the gasoline or ice field. That's why all their target audience is inside of the ice field, but people who like EVs or shift to EVs might not really consider buying this brand. I can see that maybe Tesla could be in a position at least to buy those brands, or I think the Chinese will buy all the German brands. That's something, because Tesla doesn't have an incentive to buy the brands. I don't think they want to have an BMW competitor to there. It's too complicated for them. I think they're gonna just like don't care. But I think the Chinese will. Oh, we can own BMW now.
Can we own that brand?
We can own this brand, and then they can sell their EVs in Germany, because then suddenly the EVs will be better, because they can. Yeah, it's just brand. Like that's the big thing. The thing that shielded the German market also was brand in the 80s, and now it's brand today. But it's crumbling so fast. I don't see it.
Yeah, I also had a great story about one of my followers that shared a story with me about him driving down the US, and he met this EQS owner, and he couldn't charge at Tesla's chargers, of course, in the US. So he had to stop at these and Electrify America and all this stuff.
Exactly.
and he couldn't, and half of them didn't work, and then he got to one, but it only loaded with 50 kilowatt for that huge battery in the Mercedes EQS. He was like so angry, like, I have just bought this car for like $200,000, and I sit here waiting for so long because my car can only get 50 kilowatt charging right now. Why this guy on his Model Y over there, the Tesla charger, is hammering 250 in his tiny little battery, and it's gone before I even get started. It's like, oh yeah.
That's so funny.
There's
because
so many problems.
Maybe he thinks, for $200,000, I could have bought a Model X and a Model S.
Yeah.
Or Model 3 and a Model, I don't know.
Yeah. I could have bought a plaid Model S and then 3 and Y for all my kids.
Oh God. Oh, that's hilarious. I think just Porsche has a chance, I think, because they produce decent car. But they also are a little bit going into the hybrid sector still. They're just clinching on this hybrid sector so much. A friend of mine also pre-ordered the new Porsche Macan hybrid for the next year, the 2023 one. I'm going to review that. If he has that, I'm going to review that and look at the software very closely. And he might even demand that I delete the footage after. And or at least I won't come home because I'm missing them, because the verdict I think won't be good. But I'm gonna be open and look at it. But I think Porsche has a shot to, because they have a strong brand and they deliver. So it's the only German brand. That's why that they want to split out of VW is a good idea for them. But they are still way too overvalued in their valuation. I think like people are too bullish on Porsche, but still that's an option. Porsche will survive, I think, and because they're also in the performance sector a little bit, so not luxury only, but luxury performance. So that type.
And they delivered a great EV for their brand, and they have a very, very strong brand. So
totally. Especially in the US, also Porsche is
and they don't have to get to mass production because they are not a mass production company. So totally. They don't have that to worry about. So
yeah. But Lars, we have to now quit the episode at one time before we sit until next time. Or I think the audience is already gone. I can see them. It might be
just you and I, Jan.
You're still there? But for the end of the episode, I just wanted to ask you, how was your book going so far? Because that was a big deal. I really loved it. I've read some pages of it, but I'm still gonna order the physical one. I want to read it as a book, and as we can see here, it's already there. You can order it on Amazon.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe you can tell us something about the what's up in your space and your BestInTESLA space, and you can share with us what you want to plug for the audience. You can
this one is keeping me busy right now, so that's good. And we have already got like 3 Amazon bestseller badges or banners. So that's awesome. So if you want to know more about Elon's companies and how they run and why we are so bullish on these companies, you should definitely check out this book. It has everything.
Because Lars needs some Tesla stock. Please buy the book. Yes,
exactly. Please buy my book.
Yeah, it's so cool that you did that. I was so happy to hear that, because I'm also still on my master thesis for like 1 year now. more or less. But no, I'm still at it, and I was also thinking about like publishing it maybe someday or something like that, and that's why I was already in the book field, and then I heard that you released the book, and I was like, yes, somebody does it finally. And
yeah, that's a big thanks to the co-author, Randy
Randy
Kirk,
Kirk,
who has
of course.
done 14 books already. So he was, the motor on this book. So yeah,
that's cool.
Awesome.
Then you have like a mentor to show you how to release a book. At least it's so complicated for me. I don't know.
Yeah. I would not have known
anything.
how to do that, but he has the whole team set up, so that was easy for my part anyway. So
it was a great joint venture. Very, very good idea. And also, I've read a few pages. I have the ebook. I've read it through, but I want to read the physical copy. Very relaxed on the couch. I like that more, but I liked it so far. It's very interesting to see again. It's a very good overview, even for people who don't really are into the Tesla story and don't really know so much, but also for people who are in the space. It's great to see again, like validation, or there were a few nuggets that I didn't know, for example, even if I'm in the space all the time and interviewing people. So I highly recommend the book. Please check that out. And so Lars, I'm very happy we talked about the world of EVs, and I think it's the right time to do that because the Twitter bonanza is going on in the Tesla community. And we were gonna have to ground the people a little bit. Guys, listen, here's the company still performing very
Twitter
good.
Thing. Look over here.
Twitter is great.
It's running great.
Wow, super cool, but Tesla's still here, and I have to.
Competition is coming.
And the competition is coming, but they are driving in the wrong direction. They come, but they're
this way.
No, hey guys, it's this way. But we will see what's happening there. But it's interesting to see this huge paradigm shift that's happening right now, and I think people should be aware and really think about that. And that's what I want to give the audience now to go. That they really look at that and think about this, because it's already done. We might shut down our channels soon.
It's all over.
It's all over. Goodbye. So Lars, thank you very much for being on the show. And
thanks for having me, Jan.
And as always, we only have one last thing to do now, to say goodbye, everybody.